Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Lanice, and today we will be talking about how to fall in love with yourself long term. I'm going to give you guys 8 tips, and stick around to the end of this video where I share my most crucial tips on how to keep that long-term self-love in your heart. The goal of this video is to give you guys tips on how to love yourself faster and better than I even did. Now, I did a lot of research for this video, so I'm really excited to share with you guys everything that I've learned on how to love yourself over a long remainder of time. That leads me to tip number 1. Create a self-love anniversary. What I mean is, if you were to get into a relationship, you would have an anniversary for that relationship. So like with yourself, what you need to do and establish is a date that was super significant. For me, that self-love anniversary was my car accident. Like I said in my last video, which I would encourage you guys to watch after you've watched this whole video, I got into a car accident in 2017 and broke my pelvic bone in 3 places on September 27th. That is the day that I have called my self-love anniversary. Establishing an anniversary is crucial to your self-love because it's a day that you can celebrate. You always want to celebrate yourself. So make sure you record down that date, and every year when it comes up, you celebrate it. You do a meditation bath or something like that to always acknowledge and represent that self-love that you have for yourself in your heart. If you don't have a self-love anniversary, you can say, I watched Ashley Lanice's video and that was the day that I decided that I was going to embark on my self-love journey. Before we dive into tip number 2, first we're going to define love, which is the core root of self-love. Love is a feeling and an action that benefits you and has deep affection embedded in it. So what does that really mean? That means that love can be a feeling and love can be an action. And love doesn't have to be both. It's one or the other, but when you get the real power from love is when you conjoin the two. When you take that feeling and you take that action and you blend them together, that's when you get the best benefit out of either love or self-love. Love is a muscle, and you have to learn how to keep that muscle pumping with life and sustenance. And the way that you do that is you persist with the best outcome that's good for you, even though you don't want to, because it will benefit you in the long run. A common problem that we have with self-love is instead of loving ourselves, we get a lover, we get a partner where we want them to give us love. But the problem with that is we're dependent on that partner for love. So then if we break up, then they're gone and that love is gone from us. So loving yourself is key because you really can't love anyone else until you love yourself. We must rescue ourselves, which leads me to my next point. So tip number 2 is do shadow work. Now, what is shadow work? Shadow work is basically what they say in the spiritual community for healing yourself from any kind of adversity or any kind of trauma you may have faced in your life. And shadow work is the hardest part, but it is the most rewarding as well. So the way that you heal yourself through shadow work is to analyze your past relationships. This kind of blends with what I just said about the common problem with love. Let me tell you a story. I didn't love myself, so when it came to relationships, I didn't love people who loved me because I didn't love me. I was the kind of girl who loved people who didn't love me and didn't love people who loved me. And what I've found researching that is I didn't love myself. So when someone else loved me, I couldn't love them because if I didn't see myself as worthy and they loved me, I saw them subconsciously as less than because they loved something that I didn't even value. Through my self-love journey, I had to analyze my past relationships, but also another thing I want you to analyze is your attachment style. Attachment styles are the kind of care that you received as a child from either your parent or your caregiver. We all form these attachments based on the way that we were cared for growing up. But we all have an attachment style, so I will link the quiz down below. Once you explicitly know what your attachment style is, you can actually change it. So you don't have to be confined by the attachment style, but first you have to be aware of it. All of this takes awareness. Shadow work takes awareness. Think of yourself as a flower. When you do shadow work, the attachment styles in the past relationships are kind of like roots. And what you want to do is you want to get rid of the root rot. I'm also a gardener. Root rot is when a plant is contained in a container and the roots just wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap around. And the way that you heal that is you take the plant and you repot it, and you kind of like dust off the roots, give them new soil, give them new nutrients. And so when you do shadow work, you analyze the roots of your problems, clean those roots off, and then put yourself in like a new environment of self-love and happiness. Do something that is called catharsis, which I can explain more in another video, but it's basically like healing your whole soul from anything that may have hurt you. Tip number 3 is forgive and accept yourself. Do mirror work. Go into the mirror and tell yourself, I unconditionally accept myself no matter what. Do affirmations. Drain yourself of the shame, because shame is literally one of the lowest vibrations, if not the lowest. Aaron Dottie also talks about that. Hopefully I am saying his last name right. I will link his YouTube channel below. Aaron Dottie also says, let go so you can let in. So as you process through letting go, you will be able to let in a new reality, one that will save you from those old limiting beliefs. The way that we accept ourselves is doing something that Ram Dass says, and he says, see yourself as a tree. When you see a tree outside, you see it for all of its glory. You see it for its branches and leaves and roots. You just see the tree and you honor the tree. See yourself just as this beautiful tree, because everything in your life has created you and how you are now. And if you're watching this video, you're already on the right path to accepting yourself. So tip number 4 is get your ego and your spirit on the same side so that no outside voices can get in. So you're probably wondering, okay, well then what is the ego and what is the spirit? The ego it's who we think we are. It's not who we actually are. It's this story that's been revamped over and over again. It's often over exaggerated, but the spirit is our soul. And we have, sadly, in our society, more of a connection to our ego than we do to our spirit. Now you're wondering, okay, so how do I get more in touch with my spirit? Well, the way that you do that is through the healing and the inner work, but also understanding that your ego reacts to the things that it needs. Your ego is a lot like a baby. If you feel your ego rising up and yourself getting like moody and self-sabotagey, what you want to do is check in with yourself and be like, okay, what do I need right now? Am I hungry? Do I need a shower? Do I need to relax? Like, your ego will act up when it needs something. Self-improvement kills the ego. What I wanted to really tell you, and this point is crucial, is the reason why you want to get your ego and your spirit on both sides. Think of your ego, this will be your ego, and this will be your spirit. So you really want to get your ego and your spirit on both sides, because if you love your spirit, but your ego doesn't love yourself, and some outside person comes along and they're like, oh, you're really annoying. And your ego's like, yeah, you're really annoying. What's happening here is these two are attacking the spirit. So this applies to long-term self-love, because you have no defense. You're not going to perform well. But if you can get your ego and your spirit on both sides with one another, when that person comes along and they're like, you're annoying, your ego and your spirit both know that you're not. Do that inner work. Identify the problems you have with your ego. Your ego usually has like cruxes or weak points. For me, mine was my anger. I'd get like really hooked at ego trips and things of that nature. So that leads me into tip number 5. Analyze the stories that you were telling yourself and revamp them. Now Aaron, he talks about this a lot. Okay, and so does Tony Robbins, who I absolutely adore. And basically what I mean is, listen to the stories you're telling yourself, because those stories are rooted in your ego. If you're like, well, I suck because this, that, and the third happened in the past, see the story differently. Rewrite your own stories. Think of the outcome that you want. Last week, I told you to get a journal and write a scale of how much you love yourself from 0% to 100%. And I told you that mine was 90%. And I told you that I wanted to love myself 200%, so that I loved myself so much that I could clone myself and have a whole new dose of self-love. So as I was researching for this video, I realized saying that I love myself 90% and acting like it was going to take this huge process for me to get to that 200% was a limiting belief in a story that my ego was telling me. Oh, I'm still at 90 because I still have all this healing. You can have what you want in this now moment. You can declare how much you want to love yourself. If you want to love yourself 10,000%, an infinite number, say it. But what you got to do is you got to apply that other tip. You got to act and feel together in the vibration of that. And like I said in my last video, that best friend brain will start to pop up and it will be like, okay, we love ourselves 200%. That's our new story now. So you're going to act and feel and behave in these ways. And I literally changed my story to film this video, and I started acting and behaving in the way of someone who loved themselves 200%. So rewrite your story, which leads me to my next point, tip number 6, which is understand that the universe is a mirror. And there's actually documentation that can support this theory that the universe is a mirror. It's actually a declassified CIA documentation talking about how the universe is a hologram. And I know that this is very esoteric and kind of out there, but like I said, I'm going to take spirituality and self-improvement, blend the two together, and make them very feasible and understandable so that you can implement that into your own life. What it says in the documentation is that we create our own reality with a biofeedback loop. A biofeedback loop is a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you've heard that term, where you think something will happen and then you see it in your reality. Like my favorite number is 27 because my car accident happened on the 27th of September in 2017. I see 27 all over the place. And it's not just synchronicity. It's because I'm looking for it. You get in life what you are looking for. That's what Gary Vee says, who's amazing. I'll link him below too. And so if you think your life is gonna suck, it's just gonna be this horrible struggle, guess what's gonna happen? Your life is gonna suck and it's gonna be this horrible struggle. We are all mirrors. Understand that everything in your life is a reflection of yourself. It's something I feel called to share right now. It's not what I had prepared to share, which might make it even more valuable. I'm absolutely obsessed with mirrors. I'm very creative and artistic. If you go in the mirror and look at yourself, what I want you to do is look at the reflection of you in your eyeball. And what I want you to do is think of that reflection of you in your eyeball, instead of seeing the reflection of you in your eyeball as someone like kind of trapped in your eye, invert your brain and think of you as actually that person in that reflection. Reverse it. Act like you're in there. You're the inner self in there. And I can make another video. I would love to just ramble about this because I have a lot of theories. So what I want you to do is to do the inner healing when you do mirror work, to stand there and invert yourself and think of yourself as that inner person and give yourself love, support, and comfort. Make sure you feel absolutely ready to do this, of course. Just tell yourself, I unconditionally love and accept myself no matter what. Oprah says that you don't get in life what you wish for, but you get in life what you believe. It's all about beliefs. Stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't let everything in. Understand that you have to have this shield. If you read the book, The 4 Agreements, which it's an amazing read. If you have Audible, it's a 2-hour-long book. That's so easy. Oh my goodness, it was so transformative. In the 4 Agreements, they stated that don't agree to everything. Don't let things in your brain. If someone's like, oh, you're really shy. You define if you're shy or not. They could be saying that because their reality is a mirror. Maybe they're shy. You don't have to be. You don't have to let things in. Think about what you're reflecting, because the universe is a mirror, but it's also a kaleidoscope. It's a kaleidoscope mirror. Although we do reflect everything, we're kind of like turning it and reflecting different angles of different things. You don't have to reflect things back. You can be the mirror that is the illusion that diminishes these limiting beliefs other people have. I take it as a personal responsibility to reflect good things back onto all my friends and family. Now that I know that the universe is a mirror and that I control my biofeedback loop, when I hear somebody in my life that is deprecating themselves, I send them love because I know I'm a mirror. So if I send them love, then they will reflect that, and together we will magnify that love together. So tip number 7 is, in order to love yourself long term, see love as inhaling and exhaling. See both giving love to other people and receiving love from other people, or giving and receiving love from yourself as inhaling and exhaling, giving and receiving. If you were to just inhale all the time, like if you were just to receive love, like and then never exhale. you would collapse, right? You have to see love as a cycle of inhaling and exhaling, of giving yourself love and receiving self-love from yourself and from other people. And when you see it like that, then you're more open to the experience of love and self-love. Tip number 8 is understand that the highest form of self-love is dedicating your life to a cause, sacrificing your life and expanding on your talents. My best advice for you for long-term self-love is to make your passion something embedded in healing your shadows. It's a hard process to do, but it's so rewarding. Diving into the things that you're actually afraid of and swimming in them. You hear my mermaid series coming out, just like how I speak in mermaid jargon. But yeah, so diving into those pains and creating art through it is so beautiful. It's so healing and so transcending. But honestly, just dedicating your life to a mission, because it is very fulfilling for your soul. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you could please like this video if this video has really helped you, and if you feel called to do so, follow me. I will be posting weekly videos on self-improvement mixed in with spirituality and self-help and self-love and things of that nature. So it has been so rewarding to make these videos, because as I make them for other people, I'm also really learning and healing as I teach. Thank you guys so much for listening all the way through. You're a rock star. It means a lot to me. Remember, if you're watching this video, you're already on your way. Also, if you want, you can look me up on Instagram, where I've been posting about self-love and self-improvement for way longer. I'm on TikTok, where I talk a lot about astrology. And if you guys would like videos on astrology, I know a lot. I don't know if I'm really going to talk about astrology on here unless I get a bunch of requests for it, because it's kind of like a fun thing I do on TikTok. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and just remember, fall in love with yourself, create that self-love anniversary, and thank you so much for watching.